All right, it's the bonus episode of Planet Pariah Podcast. We figured since episode 20 is such a, chaotic,
Mess.
I think, scattered, that we just, fill up some more time with a bonus episode.
This is gonna be raw, uncut. I'm
Raw,
not editing
uncut,
this crap.
Heck yeah, dude. Valerie, she has her freaking job cut out for her on this last one. But yeah, so basic consensus or whatever. We're totally gonna have your mom on for another episode, or maybe couple in the future, or
Yeah,
whatever.
and your mom in the future.
And my mom, we're gonna.
Because that's our only friends, our moms.
our number one supporters. Actually, my mom hates me. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so because there were some things that I wanted to talk about, but they wouldn't, they're big ideas or whatever.
Yeah.
So we thought bonus episode. So this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. I don't know if we'll do more bonus episodes in the future. Maybe if it's just like shooting the shit or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So this will be another spooky time, I think, or whatever we want to talk about.
Whatever. It's not random. It's more of the realm of spookiness.
Realm of spooky, but also, you know who it is.
Everything around there. Supernatural.
Yes.
Aliens. Real life scary. I don't know. Anything. Ew, the pops.
They say it's because I'm double jointed.
They say. Who's they?
Well, a pediatrician did.
Okay.
Because when last time I was there, or whatever, when I was like 18, I think, my final checkup, all my bones creaked or whatever when I got onto that table with this little thin sheet of paper on it. She's like,
oh.
wow, does that happen a lot? And I was like, yeah, actually, it's happening more now that I'm older. And she's like, oh, it's probably because you're like double jointed or whatever, and so you just pop more.
Can
and
you do some crazy shit?
Oh, like actual double jointed people?
Yeah.
I asked that, and she said, no, you're not that kind of double jointed.
You're just a shitty double
Yeah,
jointed.
I'm the shitty double jointed that can never be a spy or a ninja because they'll pop in the shadows constantly. It's so annoying. Skeletons,
sad.
dude. All right, so
Jinx.
shut your mouth. We like episode 20. We said yeah together like 5 times.
Dude, yeah. I don't even know. They probably didn't even pick me up. What?
I think it did. So episode I think it was 19. No, it was freaking 18.
Mm-hmm.
You asked me about Bigfoot.
Yes.
Cryptids, dude. Bigfoot, Nessie, Loch Ness Monster.
Yes.
The Hoover Demon or whatever, stuff like that.
But not the Chupacabra.
Not the Chupacabra. I think some form or variation of that exists or whatever. Because, all these towns have folklore and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you just openly believe all those things exist? Or do you need some sort of
Oh, no. I look at, I like reading about things and, coming to my own, my own fucking opinion.
So what is convincing when it comes to that stuff to you? That it's oh, this is real beyond a doubt.
So a part of me is, all the the evidence of sightings and the pictures they have,
mm-hmm.
but also another part is well, if you have so many sightings of the spectrum of all these different areas, how can there be that many, and is it even real, because how can it be all over the world and we still haven't caught it exactly?
Oh, you talking about Bigfoot?
Yeah, or in the same thing.
Okay.
Any other one of
Sure, yeah.
Nessie and all that. Nessie, I kind of just want to believe Nessie.
Yeah, Nessie's just a fun, cute little animal. You just want a little water horsey.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been to Lake Loch Ness, and I was excited. I wanted to see. We were searching.
What about mermaids? Is this part of the
mermaids?
Do you believe?
I think I used to, but now it's kind of I don't think so. I don't think I do. Okay. Maybe it was something in the past that people used to see, but I don't think mermaids are real.
I feel like mermaids are one of those that people just believe because they want to.
Yeah,
want them
the whole
to
Atlantis stuff. They all live in Atlantis.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they all grew legs and they walked on land.
We evolved.
They evolved. One that used to scare me a lot. Okay, so when I was a kid, I was totally into all this stuff, and I read books, and I Monster Quest and Monster Hunter, stuff like that. I scared myself to some nights I just couldn't sleep. I'd have nightmares or whatever, and I had to fall asleep with the lights on until a certain age. But one of the ones that scared me and I believed was real was the Jersey Devil.
What is
You don't know the lore?
I probably do, but I
New Jersey,
need
Jersey
a
Devil.
refresh.
So it was. I don't know like the exact details of the story or whatever. New Jersey, probably around the 1800s or whatever. There's a lady who had tons of kids. She had 12, I think, and she was pregnant with the 13th. She had a run-in with somebody who it was just like a negative, I don't know, experience for both of them, and the person put a curse on her, saying that her 13th child will be a devil or a demon or whatever.
Okay.
And they're just like, yeah, whatever. And then when she had her 13th kid, it came out. It had hoofs and like hairy legs. It had like scales instead of skin. It was screaming, and it filled the house with screams of like tons of different animals and people all combined.
Was it home birth?
It came out with horns. Yeah, it was a home birth. 1800s. Yeah, come on. And it had wings and stuff. But I think it had I don't know, some human hands or something like that. I don't know. But it was like a monstrosity, right? And it came out, and everybody was terrified of what it was, and then it like screamed at everybody, and then it flew into the chimney and flew off into the night. And then
you were scared of that?
I think she died. I'm scared because of what comes after, because that's a scary story or whatever that you tell around campfires or whatever.
Yeah.
But after that, years later, that story had kind of gone around or whatever. It's just kind of like, ooh, that's like a scary story or whatever. A couple towns in New Jersey, out in that area where supposedly that happened or whatever, they started seeing like a winged beast flying above the tree line, and hunters would hear screams in the woods and stuff. Oh, like just unnatural screams. People started hearing things in the middle of the night on the roof. It would sound like, what you would imagine like reindeer, would sound like on the roof. And then they'd go up and they'd see hoof prints in the snow on their roof or whatever. And then, hunters, people, I think at this time people had cars. So this was like in maybe the middle 1900s, early 1900s or whatever. But like towns started like being harassed by this thing or whatever. And it got to the point where like this entire town united to like chase it out or whatever, because it was terrorizing kids and people who would wander around at night.
Would people actually see it?
Yeah, people would see it. Okay. People were chased by it in their cars and stuff.
Ew.
And it would go as fast as their cars.
I'm just
in
picturing
the middle of the
like
night.
Jeepers Creepers.
No, dude, it's like if you look up pictures, it's scary. And then like I think there was one picture that existed of it, and and there's like it made the news all the time or whatever.
Dang.
And there was like a news story where I think there was a picture of it and flying into the tree line. And you see like a fire truck in front of the picture, and you see all these people at the tree line or whatever.
I'm looking up the Jersey Devil, and the Jersey Devil game pops up.
Yeah, there's a team in Jersey called the Jersey Devils. It's a hockey team, stuff like that. But yeah, that thing used to freak me out, dude. And it would like pick up people and stuff like that. It's one of those that's been like capitalized. Like there's a museum about this stuff. But that used to scare me a lot. That one and like the Dover Demon or whatever.
Ooh. We're like looking up pictures.
Yeah, we're looking at pictures.
The Jersey Devil.
It's either the Dover Demon or it's something. It's in the Bethesda game, Fallout 76. Yeah, something like that. That's not the exact picture, but so that's one thing that used to scare me. It was like the Hoover Demon or the Dover Demons or something like that. They're two separate things, but the one I'm thinking of was a cop answered a call about something that crashed into like a field or whatever, and he goes and inspects or whatever, and then he sees this thing that's part machine and part alien, and like there's just like green residue all over the place, and he was sneaking up on it or whatever, but he had the feeling that it was well aware of where he was. And he poked behind a tree, and he saw it turn at him or whatever, and it starts gliding over towards him. Ew. And he books it back to his car. And then after that, there were just sightings of this alien, humanoid alien robot thing in the forest, in the woods of this place. And it it scared people, and they would never leave their towns or whatever, and they would stay in their houses. And then eventually it just went away. There was another one called, like, I think it was the Dover Demons, where it was like a bunch of tiny green men that like came out of the woods one day after a couple sightings of like lights in the sky, and they would just see them like running around towns, and like you could hear them whispering underneath your window at night and stuff like that.
Trolls.
So yeah, kind of. And then there is yeah.
You could just bring the mic. I mean the mouse.
Oh
whatever.
yeah. Those stories scared me a lot when I was a kid. And I got a book from Half Price Books when I was like 9, and it was like cryptids and like stories like that or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I got it and I brought it home, and there was like some pictures and drawings and stuff of like Bigfoot and like those certain aliens and stuff like that, and it scared me. So like my mom took the book away, and I didn't find it until I think earlier this year. I found it in my mom's closet because the flood moved everything around or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I found it. And I was like, what was I so afraid of or whatever? And I look in there. Literally, the first page I turned to, Doctor Strange from the comic books is in there.
Seriously.
And I was like, oh my god, was I afraid of this book? And I turned more pages. The Hulk, he's in there too. And then like there is like the Jersey Devil, certain alien species or whatever, Bigfoot, the Yeti, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then it's like the Thing or like It or whatever. Jason Voorhees is in there. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I saw that when I was a kid, I'd be like, oh, there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just like, oh my god, dude. And I feel like such a dummy, dumb.
A dummy. Oh.
But yeah, I used to be afraid of aliens just coming to my house and picking me up. Dude,
ew,
I came to a conclusion.
What?
Did we talk about aliens in episode 10? Or was it just ghosts? I think it was just ghosts, right?
Oh, yeah, it was just ghosts.
Okay, so
Ghosties.
I read a story, or I heard a story about, there was like a big time period in history or whatever where people kept getting abducted by aliens. It was like the 70s or the 80s or whatever. Okay. And like all these abductions were happening and stuff and being documented and reported. And then like years later, they just kind of trailed off or whatever.
They never found the bodies?
No, like it was people like being abducted in the middle of the night and then waking up and it's like, wait, 5 hours have passed or whatever.
Okay.
Stuff like that. And there was like these kids who had been abducted when they were really little. And when they were older, they felt like they were still being followed by this missing time, this thing that would give them missing time or whatever. But when they were kids, they had visions or dreams or whatever of looking at Earth before people had gone to the moon. Like they were looking down at Earth, and it was just kind of like your view from the space station nowadays, except they were just in like a really clean room with windows, and they could just look at the planet.
That's so cool.
And then they would wake up or whatever, and that would be like a faint memory or a dream or whatever. And throughout the years as they got older, they felt like that would happen every so often. Like these aliens or these beings would come and check up on them or whatever, or like they'd experience missing time or whatever. Like they look at the clock, it's 1 o'clock, and then they feel weird, and they look at the clock again, it's 5 in the morning.
Wow.
Stuff like that, and that story made me think, like, whenever I would have night terrors when I was really, really little, because it was the same dream over and over and over again that I had for like a year or two, every single night. And the constant part, and like the dream would always say the exact same, but it always cut to the sun rising over this, this big bright light rising over this sphere. Like, you know how like the Universal logo is, like dun 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 dun. It's like that, except it was like the Paranormal Activity noise, like the humming throughout the movie, where it's like the bass that gets louder and louder till the end. It was like that, and it would cut to that every so often in my dream. And I was like, maybe I was on a ship, and like the reason I had night terrors was because of what they were doing to me, and like my view was of the sun rising over the planet. And then right before morning, I'd wake up and I'd be all sweaty and screaming every single night. And I was like, ooh, maybe that's my thing. I don't think so, but it was just entertaining to think about it like that. But I did have night terrors for like a year straight when I was a kid. And then one night it just stopped.
No.
Yeah, like I'd wake up screaming or I'd wake up sweaty. And it was the exact same dream every single night, or nightmare.
See, I would think something like that would like affect you, no? Like.
Oh, it has lasting impacts. I have a phobia of a certain texture now because of it, because whenever I'd wake up or in the dream, I'd feel this certain texture all over my body. It was like spiky or something like that, and I'd always wake up and it would still be with me.
Ew.
And I'd have to like shake it off somehow or just forget about it. And I didn't feel that again until like 8th grade, right before Christmas break. I went home and I went to sleep and I woke up and I felt it. And I was like, what the heck? And like I woke up all sweaty, and it was as if I just had that night terror over again. I was like, is it happening again? And I was so afraid. And so I went, and it was 3 a.m. I went and laid on the couch or whatever. And I just like was drinking water, and then eventually it went away. But there is a texture out there
Oh.
that, and I saw it in Austin or whatever underneath a bridge in a rock. It's just like a weird texture that is like made naturally, I guess, by like erosion and stuff. But if I see it, I freak out and get squeamish, and I have to look away or whatever.
Wow.
So there was lasting impacts from it.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's totally like not paranormal related. But yeah, if you want to talk about more alien
weird.
stuff, I'll say my thing and then I'll let you talk.
I mean, I don't know.
The Betty and Barney Hill story. Have you heard of it? It's pretty notorious.
It sounds familiar.
They're driving down back roads in the middle of the night in like what, I don't know, 1900s or whatever. I think it was a black couple too. But they like were driving down these back roads, and it was really like late night, middle of the morning or whatever, like early morning. It was dark outside, and they were being chased by this orb of light in the sky.
Oh, okay.
And Barney was trying to outrun it or whatever with Betty in the passenger seat, and it would like go away, and they thought they had lost it, and then it would come back over the tree line and follow them.
Yeah, I
and
remember
it would come right
this.
behind their car or whatever, and then the next thing they remember is everything's normal again, but tons of time had passed, and they were still going down
Yeah.
the same part of the road they were on.
Hmm.
And then like they told people their story or whatever. The police tested like this metallic-y dust that was on the dresses and the
This is
clothes,
all like come
and it
back
was
to-
like not of Earth or whatever.
Oh shit.
And they had this knowledge of like a galaxy that hadn't been discovered yet. And then like 20 years later, scientists discovered this galaxy, and they're like, wait. And they look back into the logs or whatever of Betty and Barney Hill case, and the exact same map that they had just discovered had been written by them way back then, before they had the technology to discover that.
Well, damn. I mean, wouldn't that say a lot? Like, why is
Yeah,
that
exactly.
not like?
It's compelling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that obviously means that there's things that are
Trying to
way
communicate
more
or
and
whatever.
like and have way more technology, like fucking advanced shit. That's crazy.
Yeah, and there's also the stories, like I like to talk about it with Molly or whatever, but how there's a theory that whenever all those abductions were happening in the 1900s or whatever, that like apparently there's some crazy stories that pregnant women were abducted, and then the next morning they wouldn't have a baby anymore. It was just gone, and
Okay.
all they could attribute it to was like the missing time that they felt or whatever when they were asleep, and like these slight visions of being in like on a surgery table or something. And some of them had seen like beings or whatever.
Yeah, I've read about this.
Yeah, and then like years later, people who were abducted or whatever remember seeing like humanoid, like a combination of these aliens and humans or whatever, and they were like perfect beings or whatever on this ship. And so I had made the connection or whatever of like, what if like all those babies that were taken were crossbred with the alien DNA to create this middle being or whatever.
Yeah,
and that's what these people were seeing on the ships.
And now that's what they are.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's like they're repopulating.
And maybe that's how they're trying to integrate into society. The lizard people.
But
stories like that is just super interesting. I wish I could cite the sources, but this is all stuff that I've learned throughout life or like have heard as I've grown up or whatever.
I really hope we like learn all the answers to these things.
Yeah. And it's people always bring up the argument of like, if aliens like that are real, then why haven't we caught evidence of them yet or whatever? And then like the Pentagon releases like video clips of stuff.
Haven't they like legit confirmed that there's aliens, like there's living life out there?
Some people say they have. Like there was that clip or whatever where like the Canadian senator or whatever was talking about the 4 different races.
Scientists legit said that like it's confirmed that there's aliens.
It's confirmed that there's alien life, as in like little microbiology, but like not like humanoid beings.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that form of aliens.
Yeah, but like there was that whole project or whatever that the Pentagon did, and they like released a bunch of video clips from it. Like if you watch BuzzFeed Unsolved, they did a whole episode on it. Like this declassified material, and you can see like fighter pilots chasing these things or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. And it's like not that it's alien, but it's like it could be like unidentified. It's UFOs, unidentified flying objects.
Mm-hmm.
It could be like a different country working in secret. It could be our own country working in super secrecy, or it could be aliens. But it's just like all these abductions, all these sightings that were happening in like the mid 1900s or whatever. Like, where did they go now? Or did their technology get advanced to where we can't see them anymore? Like, it's that argument of like everybody has a camera on their phone, but why aren't we capturing anything anymore?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and then that just made me think of like those old, all the like in the pyramids and stuff of people.
Ancient aliens.
Yeah. Oh, and like the writings on the walls of literally like UFOs and stuff like that.
Yeah, like there's that one picture that looks like an Apache helicopter.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
that one hieroglyph. There's also like ancient, I think it's Mayan, but there's a carving of like what looks like an astronaut, like a modern day astronaut, of a suit with a backpack and like a face in the suit.
I wonder what, like why they were drawing these things.
Yeah.
What?
Maybe they saw the future.
It's interesting.
Or maybe something showed them the future.
Or maybe that's what their life was. But then all the dinosaurs.
Maybe we live in a time loop where we're constantly being restarted or whatever, and then we learn about the past. But it's actually our future as much as it is our past. Like, we've existed before and we've lived our lives out before, and now we're just doing it again.
Yeah. Imagine how lame.
How scary. Okay, so what's the scariest thing for you that, like, we were created by aliens and we're kind of just like a zoo, like a snow globe or whatever? Or that we're in, like, like The Sims. Like, where we're in
a simulation.
A simulation, there we go. Like, what belief like that is scariest to you?
So it was a simulation, or we were made by...
Oh, I mean, those are examples. Like, any belief or whatever that you've heard. Idea.
I don't think they really scare me. They don't really scare me. If anything, it's just, like, interesting. Because, like, I know where I am. I know I'm here. But I don't... It doesn't scare me. I just would want... Like, I'm curious. I would just want to know.
If you could find out the answer to all that, would you want to know?
Yeah, I would.
Really?
Yes.
Even if it was like after we die, it's just oblivion, darkness. You cease to exist in any form whatsoever.
Oh, yeah.
You would want to know that impending doom for yourself?
Yeah, I would.
I guess, yeah, I guess I would too. Because then it's like, I can live life however I want.
Yeah.
Not be regulated by any, like, morals or whatever. But, I don't know.
Yeah, I want the unknown. It's very interesting.
So there was that one episode where I talked about my dreams and how I had visions of the future and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Have you talked to anybody and that that's heard it and has they said anything? Because Caroline was telling me how around the same time, she had the same thing happen to her. Like when you were in 4th grade, she was in like 4th or 3rd grade. Where she had the same thing, where she had the full dream, and then the next day, she could like be able to call out what was gonna happen next. And then ever since then, it hasn't happened.
Maybe there was
as crazy as like that.
Maybe it happened on the exact same day, and there was only a select couple of people for whatever reason who like experienced it.
Yeah.
Like someone restarted the day.
Yeah.
And only some people felt it. But that was the only time it's ever happened to her?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what she said. I'm not sure. But she said that she experienced things like that.
Something like that hasn't happened to me in a while. I'm surprised.
Oh, I'm pretty sure she said she thinks she's like psychic or some shit.
Everybody wants to believe they're psychic.
Yeah, but I feel like she would tell me if like she legit, or like, I don't know, Yeah. Like if it was, I don't think she would have told me that if she didn't believe.
Yeah. If there wasn't, yeah. I got a burp.
think, life's just weird, and we do not have the answers to everything, and we think, I don't know, we live like we have a certain set of like, oh, that's weird.
Understanding.
Yeah, and that's
like,
new, but maybe it's not, like it's just some people see these things or
welcome
it happens.
To Stoner Podcast, where we talk about big life. Yeah, I get what you mean though.
Stoner Podcast without the drugs.
People like your mom or whatever, like they're in touch with something.
Yeah, and I'm sure some people would just be like, she's crazy.
Yeah. But like what she feels and what I feel are two different things, but I feel like they're related in one way, because she can see like dead people or whatever and experience this certain part of life, like a spiritual aspect.
Mm-hmm.
But with me, it's different because I can like see things that haven't happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and when she was talking about it, how her like sick friend or whatever, and like she was like able to catch him like halfway in, halfway out sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it made me think like is about time, because my things dealt with time too. It's like, have I seen the future, or is time a line? Is it linear or whatever? And or is it like like I don't know, dude. Like I'm talking about something that I don't have a grasp of.
Yeah, it's almost like when you see in the movies of like somebody's like in a coma or something, or just like pretty much on their deathbed, and then somebody sees like their spirit, but it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like, is it actually just like your soul, like, and you could actually like leave it and then come back?
That's a belief that a bunch of Native American tribes had. Like at night you would wander, your soul would wander the world. And some people could see it. Like when I was a kid and I came out, before I even knew that was a thing or whatever, I came out of my room for a glass of water, and I remember I was a little kid because like my point of view was so close to the ground or whatever. And I came out, and my mom worked late or whatever, but I guess she was home because next to the kitchen or whatever, before you go into the kitchen, that's where our computer used to be. And I saw the blue light reflecting off her face, and she was just sitting at the computer desk or whatever. And I thought, oh, she's on the computer. But she didn't react to me being on a bed. Like, she would have normally said, like, oh, what are you doing up or whatever. But she didn't even look my way. And I just saw her sitting there at the computer desk. And so I went to the kitchen or whatever to get a glass of water. And right before I go into the kitchen, I look to see what she's doing on the computer. And the computer screen's just blank. Like, it's just a blue screen where you have to, like, type in your password to log in or whatever. I was like, what is she doing? And I don't know if she wasn't there whenever I came back after I got my glass of water, or if I walked by her again and she was just sitting there. But, like, I just remember, like, noticing that wasn't my mom, but I wasn't freaked out by it. And I think I mentioned it the next morning. I was like, did you see me last night or whatever? And she said, no, I was asleep or whatever. Like, I didn't get home till this time or whatever. Then I went straight to sleep and I was asleep. I didn't get on the computer last night.
So you think it was like her soul wandering?
Yeah, maybe it was like I saw her like, I don't even know what to call it. There's a word for it. Ethereal version or whatever of her. And she was just on the computer or whatever.
Just chilling.
Yeah, just chilling. Straight up. She was just staring at
trying to play some cool math games.
And it's weird because, like, the computer's asleep at night or whatever, and whenever you move it, it'll go to that screen so you can log in. So maybe, like, her ethereal ghost version moved it, and so it was on that screen for whenever I walked by.
It's interesting.
But then after that, I think that's when I learned, like, oh, Native Americans believe that your spirit would walk at night. Oh, yeah, that is, like, I remember that breakfast because I told her. And then my dad and her talked about that or whatever. And so maybe that's what I saw. And I was like, oh, wow. And I was scared. But yeah. I don't know. It's weird. Maybe is it like a genetic thing that your mom has? That like
I know. I was kind of thinking maybe it is.
Because I don't know anybody in my family besides on my mom's side, my grandma, who like sees stuff like that. Or experiences deja vu the way I did. And I wish she was still around because I would ask her,
Yeah.
But, like, or is it just randomly selected? I don't know.
Isn't it crazy? Because there's also, like, certain genes that can tell if like serial killer genes, you know, in your DNA.
Is it always 100% positive? Because I feel like anybody can.
It's just like where you're more violent.
Prone.
Yeah, like there's a higher chance, which is like crazy, you know. And then there's the genes of, like you're more like anxious or depressed, and it's like, what the fuck? These are actually like genes, and like people can treat these genetic, and like it's weird.
So maybe it is. Maybe there's like a gene that lets you, like your brain, it like detaches that part so you're able to see past stuff like
maybe that. They're using more of their brain than we are, since we only use.
What would happen if we use more than 10% of our brain?
Wouldn't that be crazy? Because then there's even people that like go out and like do that, and they have like breathing techniques and stuff, and they like make their body stronger in their brain.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Stanley Superheroes. I remember that show. Some people like that were on it.
Like I've told you, there's I think I've said that guy that lives just out in the snow, and he goes around barefoot and stuff. And they've tested him. They put him underwater, like freezing water, and they were measuring his body temperature the whole time, and it never changed. It was staying like heat.
People like that fascinate me, like those monks that live in temples. Yeah. Who train for one thing forever or whatever.
They do the same thing. Of like the whole like breathing and training.
And they like have mastery over their body and their bodily functions.
Like that same guy, he trained himself, like he can hold his breath for a super long time, and it's all just these breathing techniques.
Supernatural.
And that's crazy.
Yeah, that's why I like that movie Doctor Strange so much. Is because it kind of touched on that or whatever, or it was like, that stuff is like so like, you know, fictional, but like I feel like there's some.
But is it
non-fiction to it? Yeah. Like, what if we could, like, the secret to, you know, healing ourselves is like we control that part of our mind, and we're able to, like, you know, heal like broken spines and stuff, like connect those tissues again, take over.
Picture Deadpool's a limb cut off and you just regrow.
I don't know if we could do that, but you know, like stem cells and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, shit, it'd be pretty cool. We'd be too powerful, though.
That's our next evolution. People who like are able to do that. The next stage of evolution.
I'm really curious. Yeah, what are we gonna evolve to? Cause
dead, because we're gonna die in a nuclear war.
Apes. I was talking to Maya about, you know, how like some people predict the world's gonna end in like 40 years, or you know, you're gonna walking around with a mask around your mouth to breathe.
That'll happen sooner than later.
Yeah, and it's just like, damn. And Maya's like, shit. Honestly, if it's really that hard to breathe, I would just like take sleeping pills off of myself.
I wouldn't. I want to see what happens.
I know, and she's like, would you? I was like, no. I think I'd see what happens and walk around and see just this crazy whole world and what it looks like now. She's like, all right. That's interesting. I was like, yeah.
She's like, I'm not doing that, but yeah, cool. Good for you.
She's like, I'm gonna send. She said she's gonna record a text and it's gonna send it out. And like, you know, come burn me or something. But I'm killing myself.
My body's here.
I was like, we joked. I'm gonna go walk the streets and find her and burn her body.
Why would you burn her body?
Because that's what she wanted. She wanted to be cremated.
I'd eat her. Burn her body. How selfish. Adding to the ash in the sky. Come on.
Oh, God. It's really crazy. Crazy. And then, like, talking about, is it even right to bring a kid into this world, like, at this time?
Oh, yeah. I was already on the fence anyways.
Yeah, I mean,
going back to the supernatural aspects. I don't know if I ever told you, but after my grandma passed away, I was terrified for the next couple of days that I was going to see her in some way, because you have those stories of like people who see a relative pass on and they see them in their house or whatever.
Oh yeah, I think that, yeah, I'm kind of scared. So I'm kind of like, even with my mom thinking of like saying all these things, I've never had experienced like a death in the family.
Really?
I've only when I was like really young, and I don't barely remember it, which was my grandpa on my dad's side. So I feel like I'm kind of like scared of like who's gonna be the next one And am I gonna see it? Because right now there's nobody for me to see, even if I like was capable, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna deal even with the death because I haven't experienced.
Yeah. But yeah, so like, cause you hear stories about like people who just wake up and they see like their grandpa or whatever floating above them,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like they always say like they weren't scared, that it was like a calming feeling. It was strangely calming, and they realized what was happening, that like they were saying their goodbyes, and then they like just kind of dissipated, and then they went back to sleep, or they like cried a little bit or whatever. So I was afraid I was gonna see that because I didn't want to,
Mm-hmm.
because that sounds scary to me. So like after she passed away, every night I was afraid that like it was gonna be the night where my grandma comes and says goodbye or whatever,
Mm.
because like not only is it like you're seeing somebody who's dead, like it's unnatural or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
a spirit in your room, but also because like um it would raise so many questions for me or whatever, like about afterlife, and also the fact that like, oh, she's dead now, and it's sad, and it's kind of like you're accepting the fact at that point, like that
Mm-hmm.
this person's gone.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think, I don't know if it was before or after the funeral, but I was in my room and I didn't feel alone, and I smelt her,
Mm.
and it filled the room for like 30 seconds, and I looked
Dang.
around, and I got kind of emotional or whatever, because I was like, is this in my head or whatever? And then it was gone, and I was like, oh, she said goodbye in a way that didn't scare me.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it was, that was interesting. It could have been in my head, it could have not have been.
Yeah.
Honestly don't know, but
Either
the
way.
idea
Yeah.
is like, the idea was comforting, and it was like, okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if I ever told my mom that, because like she was sensitive for a long time about it, because obviously it's her mom.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know if I'm gonna. I hate thinking about that.
Yeah.
My mom. Ugh.
Yeah, dude, mortality is scary.
If they made like a pill or something where you could be immortal, would you take it?
Oh, what could kill me? Could something kill me, or am I like unkillable?
Oh, yeah, something could kill you, like, a car crash and things like that.
Okay.
But like immortal as a like age.
Like
You're not aging.
your cells never degenerate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Same.
Definitely.
Same. What if that meant like whenever you took this, you stay that age and the way you look?
Heck yeah, give it to me now.
Yeah, I know, right? No, I want to wait till I'm like 25.
Yeah. This goes back to that movie that I was talking about, episode 19.
Oh my god.
Annihilation. It talks about cell regeneration and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like if that is something that scares me, because once you reach a certain age, your body just starts working against itself, and you're dying. You're literally dying.
Yeah.
You're a dead man walking.
And then,
it's just
like
a
old
matter of
people just
time.
like end up like just hunching over and like
Looking like a shell of their old selves or whatever.
I don't wanna.
Yeah, I don't want to grow old, man. So give me that pill. Sign me up. Where do I go? Give it to me. I don't care if I don't eat, like, if you won't let me take water to swallow it, I'll find a way to shove it down my throat.
You can't just swallow with your spit.
If it's a huge ass vitamin pill, no. I'll swallow with water.
My uncle does that with any size pill. It's crazy.
He's a hoe.
Oh. I'll tell him, Mike, you're a hoe.
Mike, you're a hoe. Do you have any new scary stories, man?
No, not that
we gotta play the Ouija board,
I'm like
man.
remembering. Yeah, let's do it. Legit. Let's go right now.
Really?
I'm down.
We can later today.
I'm down.
Let's record it.
I was about to say let's record it. I was just about to say that. We put it up. Something. Make something out of it.
Where do we do it at?
Do you want to like legit go somewhere where it would?
We can get to the
right
cemetery.
away. I thought the cemetery.
We've already tried there. Me and Molly did.
Did anything happen?
No.
Maybe
with our combined powers.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe you and I, because shit happens. shit happens.
Because I talked about the time on the podcast where me and Molly did it and it moved, right?
I think so. Yeah.
I think I told
I'm
you
not
about it.
sure.
I don't think I talked about it on the podcast.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, I use the Ouija board a lot or whatever because me and my friend Molly try to get it to move every single time. We went to her grandma's old house, that's like abandoned now, and
Yeah.
nothing really happened. Like it was super super creepy. Like legit, the feeling of dread was so intense there.
Mm.
It was just like the hallways are so small. It's like it was dark. The only thing that we had in terms of light was a candle, and we were in the living room, and it was like
Damn.
old pictures everywhere, and that was like one of the scarier places that we tried it at, or the scariest. But the time it moved was we were in her house upstairs or whatever. It was me, Molly, and her sister, and it moved because I kind of provoked it or whatever. Because there's that demon or the thing Zozo that you're not supposed to, like if you say it or whatever. Like it's yeah, I don't know. If you see that, you're supposed to like ditch the
Leave,
board
yeah,
and like totally like never touch it ever again.
Leave the right way though.
Yeah, leave the right way. And we did that every single time. We played by the rules strictly because we were afraid. But yeah, at that point, it'd been like we had tried so many times and nothing ever happened. I was like, fuck it or whatever. And so I kind of mentioned that name or whatever, and it kind of freaked out everybody in the room. And then the thing shot the Z, and it like pulled my fingers off of it a little bit, and I had to play catch up. And apparently, it did that for everybody else's too. And yeah, and then after that, I was like, okay. And then we said goodbye or whatever. And then Molly's sister started crying, and Molly was freaked out, and I was like, just kind of like, who moved it?
Mm-hmm.
But I was freaked out too because just it got cold, man.
We should do it.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, I'm down. We might have more
Get
stories
Carol.
to tell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. We might not come back the same.
All right. All right. I know, because literally the last time, or not the last time, but me, you, Carol, and then like summer school squad.
Oh, yeah.
But that's like half of us, more than half of us would be there. Where we experienced that.
It'd be impossible to get maybe or one of the people from summer school squad, but reunion, dude. Let's go back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Man.
Has this been it?
It's
the bonus
unnatural.
episode or what?
I don't know. I want more alien talk, dude. I feel like something happened recently.
Alien talk. Alien talk. We saw that thing in the sky, but that was the.
Oh yeah.
Maybe
it was like a Chinese lantern.
Maybe one of the lanterns.
But
But
it
this
was
thing
freaking
was
flying,
soaring. It
dude.
was. Yeah, and I saw one the other day. You know, it was chilling like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
This thing was like fucking going.
It was hauling. It was a fireball in the sky, dude. It was hauling ass. That's what it was, maybe.
That was
That was weird. Because it was like cloudy,
It
so
was
you just see
going
it in the
so
clouds.
fast.
And then it was like we kind of saw it, and it was like, oh yeah, it is a Chinese lantern. But like,
Freaking sprinting.
yeah,
shit.
it's going faster than the car, I think.
Yeah, you kept driving with it.
Damn. What would be? I don't even know. What's your theory on aliens? Are they actually like their own thing, or is it us from the future, or?
I would hope to think. I don't know. I hope to think. I just like when I picture aliens, I just think it's like they're more advanced, and they're like they look like us, but not completely.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just they're more advanced. So I like they see us, they're aware of us, but I think they're smart enough not to do anything.
So you think they haven't contacted us?
I feel like you know, all the like abducted stories.
Yeah, all those stories.
Like, I don't know. I don't see why people would lie about it, you know?
Ooh, another story that used to scare me when I was a kid was there are rumors from like old government agents that at some point in history or whatever, aliens contacted certain governments or whatever, and the U.S. government started working with an alien breed or whatever, and because they apparently in this theory or whatever, in this story, there were a couple different aliens or whatever, but one reached out to us and they let us know who was like the bad guys and who was like the good guys or whatever. And the U.S. government and some other governments in the world, powerful governments, agreed with the aliens to let them test on certain civilians as long as they let us test and take some of their technology in like a trade. And so that's why all those abductions started happening, was because the government turned a blind eye and let all these aliens like take certain people.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. And then that's why there was a boom in technology for like in aviation for like the governments of the world, all these stealth bombers and stuff coming out. That's because we were sort of reverse engineering.
Yeah, what do you think like is behind the whole Area 41?
51.
Yeah, 51. What do you think?
Oh, that?
Yeah, because like there's some videos that like people in Nevada, like driving, and then like they have the things where they play the whole alien thing, and there's like alien symbols and
they like capitalize on it or whatever. I think it's definitely a military testing ground for secret stuff that they don't want us to see. There was another story that was interesting to me when I was little, but this government dude, like ex-government, remembered I don't know if it was the Roswell crash or what, but there was this UFO that they captured or whatever and brought it back to base, and they were trying to reverse engineer it to make their own, and they eventually got it working. And so there was this dude and some other government agents and scientists that went on board or whatever to test it and fly it around, and they did, but he didn't remember any of it, and nobody did. It's like they didn't have the mental capacity to fly it and record it in their minds, but they were able to fly it around, and because there were sightings that like coincided with whenever they were testing it or whatever, and then whenever they brought it back to base, everybody couldn't remember anything about it that night or whatever. But in the news, like there were reported sightings of a flying, light.
Oh my God, this is making me think of those like planes that just go. What's the famous one? Literally that happened not that long ago, maybe a few years ago.
Was it the Tesla launch?
No, the plane with all those people.
Oh, Malaysia.
And there's no.
It just disappeared.
Yeah, exactly. Not even anything like parts or the people. What do you think? Do you believe in like the Bermuda Triangle and all that?
When I was a kid, I used to, but now I think modern science has proven it's just methane bubbles coming out that are disrupting stuff.
You would think with our technology we would find something.
Well, that was the explanation, I think. Methane gas that's built up in that area of Bermuda, like in the triangle or whatever, that back in the day with the limited technology that people had, the methane bubbles and a combination of like, clouds or whatever, just disorienting pilots, and they would fly straight into the ocean, or ships would crash into each other, or ships would crash into different stuff.
For Malaysia.
Now, yeah, that's a mystery, dude. I think they found parts of the plane though, right?
Didn't they? I don't know. I didn't think so, but I don't know.
I think there's like modern mysteries like that are interesting to me because they didn't find the black box or whatever. I don't think. And that has all the recordings. That's the important piece. But I think like it could have totally been engine failure and it just fell into the ocean, and it fell deeper than people thought.
That's crazy. Imagine experiencing it, being on that plane.
Well, you're dead now.
Maybe they're not.
Yeah, maybe they were tractor beamed up into.
Never know. Maybe
spaceship.
It's the lost all over again.
Ooh, there was another story about scientists. It goes with like where the aliens made a deal or whatever with the governments or whatever, but it was like a team that was sent with these aliens to go back to their home planet, and like I forget what happened, but it was like insane. It's like those, some people have like those dads or whatever that did like secret wars stuff or whatever, or their grandparents who did like secret wars, covert ops stuff.
Yeah.
It's like maybe some of them.
Did that.
Yeah.
In a different planet area.
And they're not allowed to talk about those missions.
Yeah. Oh, that's so like because I just like I want to know something.
Yeah, me too. And like in our lifetime.
Yeah.
And also, like, with all this, like, global warming stuff and the world ending talk, you'd think they'd just be like, all right, screw it.
All right.
Or, like, if an alien, like, if we did have alien technology or whatever, you think we'd be able to help ourselves with it? So maybe the aliens aren't real.
Maybe it's the aliens killing us so they could take over.
Oh, yeah. But, that is a theory that people talk about, though. But, like, if they did want to do that, there's totally way more effective ways. Like, just send in a super bug or, like, a new plague that will wipe out people.
But that's, like, dirty.
What do you mean it's dirty? They have to
Imagine
clean up
all
the
those
dead
bodies. Yeah.
But, I mean, global warming, same thing.
I guess.
Or, like, in Halo, the Covenant will terraform a planet.
There's just going to be a big old fireball. And then few survive. But then they'll just kill us off. But you know, the ashes are easy to get rid of.
Do you think that's how global warming works?
No, I'm saying the aliens can make that happen.
Oh, they can? It's a fact?
I mean, no, like if they can make that happen, they should do that.
That's what I was talking about, Halo Covenant.
We just be ashes.
They last to reach.
They don't have to do the work and clean our bodies.
Yeah. That's why Cloverfield scares me.
Oh, those are good movies.
Yeah. Cloverfield scares me. You saw, Cloverfield 10 Lane. You saw that one?
Yes.
In the ending of like, it's just kind of like they're cleaning up all the remaining humans.
Yeah.
Dude, scary.
Spooky.
I think you're reaching the end. All right, so to be honest, like whenever we talk about this stuff on the podcast, I feel like a lunatic. Because it's one thing to share stories in like a circle of friends, but
do you think really? I mean, yeah, part of me thinks like, does anybody else think about this as much? But also, I don't fucking. It's interesting.
It is.
I mean,
like I'm talking about this stuff. I don't believe it. Really,
oh, yeah.
It's just interesting.
It's just like it would be cool if it was real.
Yeah, I don't want to be a part of the stupid YouTubers
it's just like
who like
cool
talk
theories.
Yeah, there's some things I believe, but like all the stuff that we talk about,
we're not flat earthers. We're not serious. We're not. This isn't a serious. Shut the fuck up.
The Earth is a pizza shape. There's a crust and there's this pizza.
Shut up. The core. The mantle.
The pepperoni core. Marinara deep down inside. Is God real?
Stop. Okay. Has this been it?
I think so.
Pariah,
it's just a bonus episode.
Pariah bonus podcast.
If you made it this far, let us know in the comments, dude.
Pariah. Pete. I can't even make a word with.
What'd be the scariest
PvP.
thing? What's the scariest thing you've ever imagined?
I don't know. I don't.
Death is my answer.
Such things. Death? You're scared of death?
Dude, I'd be like 4 years old. I'd lock myself in the bathroom and I'd cry because I knew that I'd die one day. And I didn't know what it was like.
Oh, yeah. Once you, like, get in that mindset or you think about it, it's like, shit, I don't know what's going to happen. And, like, am I just going to be nothing? And, you know, everything we're feeling right now means nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And I had that, that goes into deeper, that affected my life.
Oh, yeah. No, I thought of that. But then I've also just, like, been like, no point of thinking about it. Yeah.
Why think about death when you can live?
Imagine if we ended these podcasts on something like just a stupid sentence and that's it. No outro.
Dude. What? Whenever you're talking about the text, I think you started off or whatever, the dude who like was behind you when you pulled over. You said you pulled over because you're a good driver instead of texting and driving and like picking a new song. I was thinking in my head, like, I was gonna say, oh, I wouldn't do that, I would just text and drive or whatever. But what if like I say that and then I
get in a wreck?
I get in a wreck and I die. And like that's like one of the last things I ever said.
I was thinking maybe you say that and then you get in a wreck in future reference and then they use that against you because you said that.
Oh no, I was thinking I'd die and then it'd be like super morbid and dark.
No.
Would you post it?
Oh my god, would you want me to?
Yeah.
Okay. You heard it here first,
Like,
folks.
legit, if you ever film me dying, post that stuff. Otherwise, it'd be for nothing.
Film you dying?
Yeah, like, if we're out there doing a video idea and I die somehow, like, I'd want you to post it.
What if it's like all the crazy screaming and like crying?
Then yeah.
What if you don't even die instantly? It's like slowly and shitty and...
I want my final moment somewhere.
No. That's like Logan Paul shit. Like the suicide force.
That dude was swinging in a breeze already. He couldn't consent. I consent.
No. Swinging in the breeze. I fucking can't. Oh my god.
It's true.
So no matter how morbid or crazy it is, you would want it to be on YouTube. It would get flagged and take it down.
Well, not on YouTube, but like, yeah, post it, dude. You can censor it, put it on YouTube, and post a link to Live Leak.
Oh my god. I don't know.
So, can I do the same for you or no?
Go ahead.
Okay, awesome. We have verbal confirmation of agreement.
What if our parents get mad and they sue?
Then I guess.
Go back to this clip.
Yeah,
We're
I mean,
our
I'm an
own person.
adult. Yeah, we're adults. Sorry, parents and possible future kids I have.
All right.
There's something else I wanted to say, but Suicide Forest, I want to go there.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Something about it is just alluring to me. Places where a lot of people have died. That's interesting. I always get drawn to places like that. I don't know why. Like, I like hanging out in cemeteries. Because there was like, I don't know, just like this is the final resting place of so many people who have lived so many different lives.
Oh yeah.
Like, being in a cemetery makes me feel alive.
Oh my god, that's kind of fucked in a way.
Kind of, but like, it's true. And I think that's really cool. It reminds me of like what I have that these people don't have.
Oh my gosh. You should be reminded of that just without having to sit in the cemetery and be like, haha.
I don't
I'm
laugh
alive.
at them.
Oh yeah.
I actually have conversations with some of those dudes, alright? I play music for them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I sing to them.
Ooh, I'm sure they love that. They're like rolling in the graves, make this stop, make it stop.
I'm not disrespectful to the dead, but like they do like I like hanging around with them. They don't talk back. They listen to what I have to say. They don't judge.
Sounds like a pet. All right, the bonus episode.
Episode is concluded.
Done.
Make sure to go home and have political discussions and ask your parents, is God real?